Hi, it's Zach again. I think the last time I was telling you about my crazy life with my new roommate, Adriana, was when Melody came into town and I discovered my best friend had been crushing on me for years, and that Adriana might like me too. Anyway, the two of them decided that I had to pick, which would have been pretty hard, but, well, Melody is my friend, but Adriana is just this incredible breath of life to me. A fact that I'd have been happy to explain if either one gave me a chance. Instead, I was stuck in one of the most awkward situations I've ever been in for my entire life, dating two girls at the same time. And before you tell me that I should just let Melody down gently, I was trying to right up until she took me out for that picnic she promised. It all started on a sunny Saturday morning. Melody knocked on my door at 8 a.m. with a cup of takeout coffee and a big grin on her face. "Morning, Zach! You ready to hit the road?" she asked and hugged me tightly. "Ugh, look at the two of you," Adriana called over. No doubt another boring, predictable day out. "Melody, you should just give in already." Then she smiled sweetly at me. "And Zach, I'm making my amazing shrimp tacos tonight. Don't be late." She sashayed into her bedroom before Melody had time to do more than turn an angry shade of red, grabbing me by the arm to yank me outside. "Here." She thrust the coffee into my hands and stalked down the apartment stairs. "I can't believe you're living with her. Maybe I should move back in." "No!" I practically shouted, then backtracked so I wouldn't hurt Melody's feelings. I mean, you always wanted a place of your own. And that cottage will be really nice once you finish working on it." "That's so true. I have all these amazing ideas," she said as we climbed into her car. In the spirit of moving back near the mountains, she'd gone out and bought an old Jeep that I could already tell she hated. She struggled for a minute to get the gears shifted, the sound of metal crunching. We can use my car," I offered. "No way. I just need a little practice." "Adjusting to a new car takes time," she insisted before finally managing to pull away. "There, you see." We drove through the town towards the national park, Melody talking about the business work with her mom as we went. I was mostly silent as I sipped my coffee. It felt weird for me and uncomfortable. I was used to talking with Melody about everything and anything, but only ever as her friend. On any other weekend, this would have just been a cool trip. The pressure of knowing this was a date kind of freaked me out. I'm pretty sure Melody noticed. She kept giving me these weird smiles, but carried on anyway. "Hey, Melody, I really think we should," I began, trying yet again to get through to her. "Oh, here we are," she interrupted, pulling off the access road to the park. Although we were really early and it hadn't long been reopened, the park was already full of people, and the car parks for the trails were all pretty busy. "Is this a good idea?" I asked, looking at all the other people unpacking their cars around us. "Of course, silly!" Melody grabbed a backpack and handed it off to me. "We're going to have the best time, and I already packed your favorite sandwiches. It'll be awesome." I nodded, because it was obvious Melody wasn't going to listen to any more questions. She'd already swung her own backpack on and hooked an arm through mine to pull me towards the first trail marker. "Aren't you excited we're actually going on a date?" she said. Well, Melody cut me off before I could say any more. "Because I know you must be. We've always had this chemistry between us. It's just so right that we try it out after all these years." I gave up arguing and just showed a weak smile. I know, I'm a terrible person. I should have refused to come or forced Melody to actually talk to me about how she felt. But I didn't. So I was stuck hiking up an extremely steep trail with a backpack full of food and daydreaming about the tacos Adriana would make when I got home. "Isn't it amazing here? I'm so glad I moved back," Melody said as we walked. "You know, I've just been thinking about you so much while I was away." "It is nice, but where are we heading to?" I asked. "I read there's this really pretty outcropping over the other side of this mountain. I don't think it's all that far," she replied. So we walked. And as it got hotter, I felt my back get wetter and wetter. I shifted the backpack uncomfortably a few times. Hiking was not my comfort zone at all, and I wasn't sure it was Melody's either. We both stopped really talking after the first hour, when breathing became much more important. "Do we have water?" I said eventually, gasping for air as I unhooked the heavy bag. "Oh no, Zach!" Melody looked horrified, and I glanced down at the bag to see a huge purple stain that had spread all over the back of it. What the? I pulled the wet back of my t-shirt away from my body. Apparently, I hadn't been sweating as much as I thought. I was drenched in the same purple liquid from my back all the way down to my thighs. "I'm so sorry." Melody frantically unzipped the bag and pulled out a huge bottle that had apparently once contained the grape juice that was all over me and all over our food. What a mess. "Is there anything we can save?" I poked at a foil-wrapped sandwich and watched as purple juice oozed out the side. It'll be fine. I still have some snacks in my bag, and we're really close to the outcropping. I bet there's a bathroom there," Melody insisted. I was less sure. We'd left the main part of the trail to follow a smaller path at least a mile back already. Were there bathrooms in the woods? And let me tell you something else. Walking when you know you're covered in grape juice is a lot different to walking when you think you might just be sweating. "I don't know. I think we should head back," I said. But Melody shook her head. "No way. It's definitely not far. And then you can get all cleaned up. It will be so much faster than going back to the parking lot, I promise." It was not faster. The trail signs Melody promised were taking us there any moment now slowly vanished. The path became narrower and denser, and the drying juice on my t-shirt had begun to attract bugs from what felt like the entire woods. "I don't think this is the way, Melody," I told her when we came to an overgrown section that didn't look all that much different from just being woods. No trail in sight at all. Her face crumpled. We'd both grown up hearing about people leaving trails and getting lost in the woods. "I'm so sorry. We must have taken a wrong turn. I could have sworn I saw a marker say 'this way,'" she said. "No, it happens. I think we should just head back to the car for now." Melody bit her lip and nodded, and we began to search for a way back. Luckily, we hadn't gone that far when I saw an orange trail marker in the distance. Then I heard a strange noise and glanced at Melody, to find her crying quietly. "Hey, it's okay. Accidents happen all the time, and we're back on the trail. Everything's good." I tried to reassure her and grabbed her hand. "It's not that," she wailed and sat down on a pile of broken logs. "I just thought this would be different. That we would be different." Mel?" There was something slithering near her feet. I couldn't see a pattern or color, but I could see the movement. "Melody, it's not your fault. You're still Zach, and I love you. I really do. I just thought it would be so easy for us to be together. And it isn't," she continued, ignoring the panic on my face. "Melody, you need to keep still," I warned. "What? Zach, I'm trying to tell you, I think we made a mistake dating. We're such good friends, and everything just seems to go wrong. It's like a sign from the universe or something." "There's a snake by your feet, Melody," I shouted. "Don't move. Just let it move on." Melody looked down and gasped, freezing in fear. Brown and black coils slowly stretched as the snake's head emerged from the leaves. "Zach?" Melody's voice trembled. "I'm here. Just keep still and calm. Let it settle down or get away," I said, watching while it scented the air with its tongue, then slowly began to slither away. "There you go. It's gone." Melody threw herself into my chest, sobbing for real now. "You see? We'd totally be cursed as a couple." I nodded and said the words I'd wanted to get out for days. "You make better friends anyway. Let's stay besties for now." Weirdly enough, once we agreed we were no longer on a date, our luck really did seem to turn. We made it back onto the main trail, and although we got some weird looks from people freaked out by seeing a man covered in grape juice and a teary-eyed woman, the walk back to the car was nice. We were talking again, the way we used to. We made the right choice, Melody announced, finding a bench near the parking lot entrance where we could eat the stuff from her bag. We did, I agreed. We sat for a while longer, Melody telling me about her next big plans for her mom's business before we drove home. Melody pulled the Jeep up carefully back at my apartment, though she still managed to stall it at the last second, and I was pretty much thrown into the dash. I sat back and rubbed my chest. So, I'll see you soon, I said and grabbed the sticky backpack. Yeah, you don't need to take care of that, Melody replied, voice soft. I grabbed her into a quick hug with one arm. You're still my best friend, I told her, and she nodded against my shoulder. Let's get drinks on Friday. I can come over, and we'll watch lame action movies like we used to, she suggested. Yeah, that would be awesome. See you Friday, I replied and patted the top of her car while she tried to get it started again. You might want to think about a new car. It roared to life, and she rolled her eyes at me, still stubborn about the Jeep. The Jeep stays, she shouted as she pulled away, and I grinned after her. When I walked back into the apartment, Adriana was sat on the sofa watching TV, the air warm with spices. I dropped the juice-soaked bag I told Melody I'd cleaned for her onto the step and leaned back against the door. Have fun today? Adriana called to me, a knowing look on her face. Would you like to see what old grape juice and sweat looks like? I asked and turned to point to my back. Zach, she gasped, then bit her lip, clearly trying not to laugh. Go ahead and laugh it up, I said and trudged to my room to shower, too tired by the effort and emotions of the day to talk until I was at least a little cleaned up. My shirt and pants went straight into the trash. There was no way I'd ever get the purple out. I ended up nearly scrubbing off a total layer of skin to get the stains off my skin. I was dressing when I heard a light knock on my door. Zach, I made those tacos. It'll be ready in 5, Adriana said. Be right there. I pulled on some comfortable clothes and walked out to find the apartment transformed. In the 15 or so minutes I'd been gone, Adriana had covered the surfaces with candles and spread an old-fashioned checkered tablecloth over the coffee table, which was covered in little bowls and plates filled with delicious-smelling foods. A couple cold drinks were already set out, a wedge of lime in the mouth of the bottle. Ta-da! Tacos a la Adriana. I smiled over at Adriana, who was filling a bowl with some kind of sauce in the kitchen. This looks pretty amazing. I'm impressed, I told her, and sat down ready to dig in. Well, it didn't seem like the date with Melody worked out according to plan. I figured I could do something a little nicer for tonight. She grinned as she walked over and shot me a wink. I grabbed a plate. You have no idea. A knock on the door interrupted me, and I put down the plate and brushed off my hands. I can get it, I told Adriana as I stood up. I didn't think anyone was coming over. I didn't either. Is it Melody? She asked. I swung the door open, thinking the same. But instead of Melody, I saw a tall, handsome guy who looked like he spent half a good part of his day at the gym. He had the kind of thick, well-styled hair that would need a hair transplant to achieve, and he was dressed in a skin-tight Henley, with a bunch of flowers in his hand. Roses, at least a dozen of them. Hi? I said, surprised. Can I help you? Hey, man, I'm not sure I have the right address, he frowned at me. I'm looking for Adriana. Oh, sure. Yeah, this is the right place. I turned to Adriana, who was looking at me with this kind of wide-eyed stare I'd never seen before. For you? She stood up hurriedly, wiping her hands on a napkin with an uncertain smile on her face. Hi, she stammered. The guy at the door pushed past me, grinning like a madman and holding out the flowers. Adriana, sweetheart, he announced and rushed towards her. Michael, this is such a surprise. Adriana took the flowers, though she didn't look all that happy to me. Well, once I got the okay to travel, I just couldn't wait to see you. He wrapped an arm around her shoulders. Zach, this is Michael. I'm her fiancé. Fiancé?